Welcome back to the channel, and you're stuck with me today. Kelby is leaving me to cook, which honestly never happens except for backpacking meals. So let's do it. Today, we are going to try to recreate the famous chili mac with beef by Mountain House. This is probably one of the most popular backpacking meals we see. We have eaten this countless times in the backcountry. It is always a safe bet. Mac and cheese, chili, you really can't go wrong. But this baby costs $11.99. And it only has 460 calories. I've been dehydrating meals for the past maybe 4 years now and slowly have been experimenting and trying new things to bring into the backcountry, and I absolutely love it. And one of the biggest reasons that we started doing it is to save money. These backpacking meals can be anywhere from $10 to $15, which feels pretty crazy. Like, that's a meal going out to eat at a restaurant here in town. So we started making them and seeing how cheap we could do it, and I think this is gonna be a really good one. So my biggest goals for this are to, one, see if I can recreate this and find a good flavor that's at least as good or maybe better than this one, and then matching the calories and proteins. This says it's 2 servings. If you've ever been backpacking, you know that this is not 2 servings. We always eat one of these to ourselves. This one, the full bag, has 460 calories and 24 grams of protein. So I want to see if I can about recreate that and see how much it's going to cost and see how good it tastes, because honestly, taste is probably the most important thing to us. The beauty of this meal is that it's going to be super easy. I'm basically just going to cook it like I would cook it at home and then put it all in the dehydrator. So I have all of our ingredients lined out here. We are going to be using ground beef, which I honestly don't use very often in dehydrated recipes, but trying to recreate it as closely as possible. I will be mixing this with breadcrumbs, and this typically helps it rehydrate a little bit better. With that, I'm gonna be using kidney beans because that's what they use. Now for the mac part. So you definitely could just do this with some elbow pasta and some cheese powder. I just wanted to make this as easy as possible and do something that everyone can recreate at the store. So we went with Annie's. You could also definitely make this cheaper by going with something like Kraft mac and cheese. This is a little bit on the pricier side, but we do love Annie's. Then for some flavor, we're gonna be using an onion, tomato paste, and garlic. Then I have an array of spices. I'm gonna start by mixing the ground beef and the breadcrumbs together. I have 1.34 pounds of ground beef. I'm just gonna be doing a half cup of the breadcrumbs and just mixing that as much as I can. I'm gonna be dicing up the onion, cooking that, the garlic, and the ground beef until it's all cooked together, and then adding those beans in. One of the trickiest things about creating dehydrated meals that I have found is to not cook with oil. It's just natural to throw a little bit of oil in before you cook anything, and that will likely harm the dehydration and mostly the preservation of the food. Fats don't dehydrate well, and so it's very likely that it's going to make your dehydrated food go rancid between the time that you dehydrate it and rehydrate it. So I just throw everything in here at the same time because the beef should have enough fat to make everything a little bit moist, and then if I need a little bit of extra moisture to cook this, I'll just put a little bit of water in. You want to make sure that you get as small of pieces of beef as possible because that's what's going to rehydrate best. So I will just continue chopping this up and chopping this up as much as I can to get rid of any big chunks. For spices, you definitely could just grab a chili spice and that would make it very easy. I'm going to be using salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, and chili powder. On the other burner, I'm gonna cook the pasta just to the box instructions, but I'm gonna leave the cheese sauce on the side. Yum. Okay, so this is completely done. The only thing we don't have is the cheese, but I actually prefer to add this when we're rehydrating it on the trail. I think that this is a really nice addition, but even though we don't have this, always taste test. See if you wanna add any other spices or anything else before you dehydrate it. This is what you will be getting. I feel like I could add a little bit more salt just because we added all of that pasta. But I do have to remember that we're gonna be adding the cheese and then potentially a couple other things I will show you while we're on the trail. Okay, that's perfect. It's time to go in the dehydrator. My goal is to dehydrate this whole thing in one dehydration because this is gonna take 12 to 14 hours. So we'll start with the bottom tray. I just cut parchment paper with a hole in the middle to go around this heating area because this is where the hot air comes up. We'll just lay that down and start loading. The biggest tip I have is to get this as even as possible per sheet, and then to also get rid of any clumps. Make sure it's as smooth and small as possible, and that's gonna rehydrate the best and fastest. It is all loaded up. It fit in here perfectly. So I'm going to run this at 165 for probably 12 hours. I don't know if 12 hours is gonna do it, but I feel like that's probably a good guess. And then if I need to, I can always add a couple hours at the end. The goal is at the end, it's going to be completely dry. It's not gonna feel like there's any moisture left. I used to do this really early in the morning and dehydrate it and get it done by the evening, but I prefer now to just do it overnight because I wake up and it's done. So I'll stir it once or twice before I go to bed, and then when I wake up, she'll be ready to go. I will check in a couple hours and show you what this is looking like. Okay, it has been a few hours. I'm in my pajamas. I'm getting ready to go to bed, so let's stir this. Honestly, I'm quite happy with how this is dehydrating already. You can see that some of these pasta shells are already quite dehydrated, and same with the meat, but there are some over here on the outsides that aren't getting quite as dehydrated, so I'm gonna move this in and this out. Also gonna try and break up any of these larger chunks that maybe aren't dehydrating as well. Break them into smaller pieces. The bottom trays are definitely not dehydrating as much as the top ones, so I'm going to mix them around and put some of the top ones lower and the bottom ones higher. That is all. I will see you in the morning. Okay, it is the morning. I woke up and I wanted to give it a little bit more time to dehydrate, so I stirred it. It was done, the 12 hours finished. I gave it a stir and then dehydrated for 2 more hours, and now it is definitely done. What you're looking for to tell if it's done is that the pieces are just going to be very crunchy. It's not gonna feel like there's any moisture left in it. Obviously, you can hear that it's quite hard. It sounds like regular pasta before it's cooked. And then you don't want the beef to have any moisture left in it. So if you try and crack it, it should crumble rather than like slowly pull apart. So it's time to package this up for how we would take it on the trail. I will be honest, I would typically just eyeball this and get a bunch of bags and just fill them so they all look similar. I'm going to weigh it today just to make it as accurate as possible. We currently have 938 grams of dehydrated food in here. There are a few different ways that I will package these up. Most often I will just use a freezer Ziploc bag. Now you can actually cook in these. You can pour the boiling water in, put this in a food cozy and heat it up. Some people don't love that. So you could also put these in a stasher bag. These take boiling water really well. They're just heavier and harder to clean in the backcountry. Or we have Mylar bags that make it very easy to cook. It's gonna be a very similar experience to this, and you can just throw it away. After doing a lot of math, I found out that I should be able to make 9 of these with this portion that I just dehydrated. What I mean by that is I just scooped out 1/9, so this is about 104 grams of this meal, and this has pretty similar calories and protein to this. So just to remind you, this bag has 460 calories and 24 grams of protein. 1/9 of my meal has 510 calories and 26 grams of protein, so it's actually a little bit more calorie and protein dense. Guess how much I made this for? $3.04. So I think that's pretty amazing. I can make 4 of these homemade meals for the price of this one Mountain House meal. I could feed the whole group. I could eat 4 times. for the price of one of these. And that's definitely like one of our biggest goals. And we're still maintaining the protein. All of that being said, I think something we've realized in the past few years is that one of these, 460 calories, is often not enough for us after a really long day hiking and backpacking. I will usually eat one of these and then want a few snacks, maybe a bar. Kelby honestly could eat 2 of these and that would cost a fortune. So one of the biggest benefits to dehydrating our own meals is that we can add as many calories as we want to make it feel sufficient. So let's say I wanted to make this into 6 meals instead of 9 meals to bump up the calories. Dividing that 940 grams by 6 gives me 156 grams of food for each one, not including the cheese. I still have to add the cheese in here. So the new stats of this are 765 calories and 39 grams of protein in this meal. And I made this for $4.57. So it's still gonna be quite a bit cheaper, even adding more calories. I did the math and you wanted over 1,100 calories. You could do that and 59 grams of protein for $6.86 per meal. And that would basically be like a whole box of mac and cheese and a quarter of that beef, and just dividing this whole meal into 4. I am not a professional with like food safety. I would probably keep this in room temperature for up to a month, but I'm actually gonna put these in our freezer because I don't know when we're gonna eat them, and they should be able to store for like 6+ months in there. If you get a vacuum sealer, they could last even longer. So I'm gonna put these away and then let's get to the taste test. It is time to compare Mountain House versus homemade. We're gonna make Mountain House just in the bag like we usually would. We are going to make the homemade meal in the pot because that's just the way that we typically prefer to cook these. So here we go. Honestly, smells pretty good. Okay, so we have water that we have boiled. Obviously we're not on the trail right now. It's very snowy here. So we're gonna try it at home. If it tastes good at home, it's definitely gonna taste good. We just cover the food. We're gonna let that sit, then we'll show you how to make this meal. We just use the little stove for our Jetboil stash, and then a lot of the times if we're gonna be eating meals together, we bring this big Sea to Summit 2.2 liter pot.
So we're gonna do this just like we would in the backcountry. We're actually going to put the food directly in the pot, and then we're gonna cover that food with water and boil it. I cannot condone using a Jetboil inside your own home, but we're gonna do it.
Because we typically don't have like measuring cups in the backcountry, we just eyeball everything. I would always just recommend to just cover the food. You can always add more water, but you don't wanna make it soupy. This has been sitting for about 9-10 minutes. This just finished cooking. I think we ended up boiling it for like 7 minutes and then we let it just sit for a little bit. So I'm just gonna add this mac and cheese packet to finish off our meal. This is what we're working with versus this one looks more tomatoey, I do have to say. Okay, taste test. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. I definitely think just tasting this right now, I would definitely add tomato sauce to that.
Oh.
Next time.
Okay.
But I also haven't tried this.
Okay, swapping them out.
We're so quiet. Neither of us wants to speak first. This one's really good.
They're both really good. Like, this one's always been a staple for me for good reason. Mm-hmm. The one I prefer is that one though.
You do?
Tenfold over this one.
Okay, I do too. I will say this was more like mac and cheese, like loaded mac and cheese. That one's more chili with some pasta.
I'll always choose the mac and cheese.
So I do have to admit they're not like exact replicas. I think that this would taste a lot more like that if I added tomato sauce into that whole mixture. That would make a big difference. I might try that next time, but this is just like very satisfying. Also, this bag of food has almost double the calories, double the protein of that bag. Overall, I feel like it's just a really great representation of what you can do with dehydrated backpacking meals. Making them at home is such a great way to save costs and still get very similar calories, protein, everything that you need. I do think I failed a little bit on an exact replica. 2 things that would honestly also help this a lot. I have some dehydrated milk in hopes of making it a little bit creamy. I also wanted to try what olive oil would do. Just bring like a little tub of olive oil to be able to add some extra fats in here, some extra calories, make it again a little more creamy. Some dehydrated milk powder, These would be things I would probably add like right after cooking, just with that cheese powder. Oh,
Did it make a difference?
honestly, I think it really makes it feel more mac and cheese-esque, because you'd usually want to add milk with those recipes, with those boxes.
Oh.
Do you notice the difference?
Oh yeah.
So dehydrated milk definitely could be a great option. You can get this at like any grocery store and then just bag as much as you would need. I guess we'll try a little bit of olive oil now.
Double whammy.
I would be so happy to have that in the backcountry. The dehydrated milk and the olive oil add extra calories also, so you can make the meal for a little bit cheaper.
I actually think the olive oil was like the biggest gain out of all that. That's really good. I'd be stoked to open up the bear canister at night and pull that out.
And the beef rehydrated really well with the breadcrumbs, because that is a concern every time. Like, meat can be weird, but adding those breadcrumbs really allows it to soak up the water, I guess. And there's literally no crunchies.
Yeah, the texture looked funny when you were making it.
It looked really
It
funny.
looked quite funny, but that is good food that I'd be happy to eat.
That is all for today. If there's another backpacking meal you'd like me to try to recreate, I would love to do that. Or if you want some other homemade things, let us know.
Thank you so much for stopping by for this video. We'll see you on the next one.